Everybody, we are back. We
It's
are
a
sorry for the break.
little
Had to enjoy
hiatus.
our holidays, hope everyone had a good holiday season. We got New Year's coming up. Sheebs, you have a good Christmas?
Yes. Did Santa treat you well?
He did. He gave me mimosas right at the get-go. Can't complain. If you start your Christmas with mimosas, dude, I got a sick Mike Tomey jersey. I got a Vince Young jersey. Satisfied. I get some new golf clubs too.
I got a
We got
Dalvin
a
Cook
lot.
jersey. Still got to buy that Justin Jefferson jersey.
I'm telling you, dude. Go with throwbacks. Get yourself a Tarkenton.
I'm getting myself a Chris Carter jersey.
Get a Randy Moss.
My mom actually has a autographed Fran Tarkington jersey with the certificate of authenticity. But the only problem is I'm pretty sure he signed it in magic marker because it's all faded and the signature's all fucked up because he signed it in like blue Crayola washable marker.
Blue, not even black. Blue?
No, blue. Come on,
Santa's
Fran.
brought me this nice hat. Go Pack Go.
Santa brought me this.
Shroot Farms. I got Big Joe got me one.
A visit that can't be beat.
Yeah. No, mine's yellow and it says Historic Shroot Farms. Yours is different. I fuck with it though. I like that. We got a lot. We got a lot to unpack here. The hot stove. Let's start right at the top, man. The hot stove is sizzling in baseball. Blake Snell is going to the Padres. The Padres are legit. There's a package of prospects involved in the trade. Most notably, Luis Patino was heading to Tampa, the top pitching prospect for the Padres. Dude, I'm telling you, but Clevenger is going to be out next year. But Blake Snell has 3 years left on his deal. Clevenger's got a couple. Come 2 seasons from now, that's going to be a solid starting five, especially if Bauer goes there.
Let me tell you something. He's got to be happy to be out of Tampa Bay after what happened in the World Series.
Well, Kevin Cash is a dipshit.
That's basically what he did is like, yeah, I don't have confidence in you to finish this game, even though you already struck out the top of their order twice. But yeah, we're just going to take you out.
Yeah, that decision still puzzles me. Tampa, they have a shitload of talent on the major league team and in their farm system. This is what Tampa does.
Randy Rosarina.
They have top prospects that come up, do well, and then they trade them off. They're the smallest market team. So people shouldn't be surprised that they traded their blue chip pitcher, formerly their top prospect. People shouldn't be surprised. They did it with David Price. They let Crawford walk years ago. Longoria left. Upton. I mean, this is what the Rays do. It's a great deal for both teams. It really is. But what puzzles me is 3 years left on Snell's deal. You would think that the Rays would at least use him for a couple of years and see if they can get back to the World Series, instead of jumping ship 2 years early.
Yeah.
Either way, that's a great move for the Padres. They also have a shit ton of talent. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to say the least, especially with Bauer still on the market if they choose to pursue him, knowing his relationship with Clevenger. So that's pretty much all for baseball right now. At least we got a little bit of sizzle. Got some shit happening. We ain't just sitting here thumbs up the asses. It's gonna get going probably right after the new year. Unpack a little bit of basketball for us, Sheebs.
I'll unpack some basketball. So yesterday was a wild day in the NBA. Started off, the Mavericks took the Clippers and spanked them, 124-73. No Kawhi Leonard after getting hit in the mouth on Christmas Day, and he bled. And
that was ugly. I did see that.
And the halftime score was 77-27.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was seeing
the Clippers scored 27 points in a whole half.
The Twitter sphere was having a field day.
And Paul George is like, oh, it's because we didn't have Kawhi Leonard, blah, blah, blah. And he's the best player in the league. First of all, no, he's fucking not. Second of all, the Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis and they blew out the Timberwolves by 30 plus. So, like, there shouldn't be any excuses. And yeah, the Mavericks are a better team than the Timberwolves, but the Lakers blew them out on Christmas Day too. The Hornets shocked the Nets, 106, 104. Kevin Durant with 29 points, Kyrie Irving 25 points, Gordon Hayward with 28. You know, I love to see Gordon Hayward doing well there, especially after the massive contract that they signed him to that probably shouldn't have been signed to. The Orlando Magic 3-0 after they take down the Wizards, Russell Westbrookless Washington Wizards. Markelle Fultz, 26 points. He's really playing well so far this year. Bradley Beal had 29 for the Wizards. Moving on to the Pelicans and the Spurs. Shout out Professor MacArthur and the Spurs. Talked to him the other day.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my dude, Paulie Mack.
And yeah, the Spurs just didn't play as well as they should have. Rudy Gay, 22 points off the bench.
Rudy Gay is still in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he like 50?
No. Brandon Ingram, 28 points. Zion, 18 points, 11 rebounds. The Cleveland Cavaliers, very surprising, getting off to a 3-0 start. The Cavaliers, who no one thought would be any good. Andre Drummond yesterday having a big game against the 76ers, leading the way with 24 points and 14 boards. Colin Sexton has been playing really well, and Darius Garland has also been playing really well. Joel Embiid did not play against the Cavaliers yesterday. Ben Simmons did play. Tobias Harris played. Dwight Howard. They just couldn't get it done. 118-94 is the final score there. I think that the most shocking game of the day was the New York Knicks got their first win of the season, and it wasn't against a crap team. It was against the Milwaukee Bucks, and they won by 20 points. 20 against the guy that has the biggest contract in like NBA history. That guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who so far has not stepped up this year. Missed a game-tying free throw against the Celtics. And now he
like I told you,
there's a lot of basketball left. It is early.
A lot of basketball left.
Like, I don't know. Like, yes, Giannis is good. I'm not going to sit here and say he's bad, but he doesn't impress me as much as I feel like he impresses other people. Like, I just think
he's a stud.
Yeah, I just think a lot of it's natural ability.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're that lengthy, you're that tall, you finally hit the weight room.
Because he doesn't have a jump shot. He just bullies people down low. I mean, it's whatever works.
Yeah, that's
whatever works for your game.
The dribble drive. You get him in the paint, I mean, you're in trouble.
Another big story here is the Indiana Pacers taking down the Boston Celtics 108-107. And, you know, the thing about the Pacers this year is Domantas Sabonis has been playing out of his mind, and nobody's talking about it because he plays in Indiana.
Yeah, long gone are the Reggie Miller days where people actually gave a shit about the Pacers.
He had 19 points and 10 boards and 5 assists and got the game-winning bucket.
That deal that the Pacers made initially, sending Paul George to the Thunder, they're looking very smart for that one.
Yeah. And then the Warriors beat the Bulls by a point. The Warriors don't look very, very good so far this year. Kelly Oubre stinks. He sucks. He is terrible. The guy, to start off the first 2 games, his only field goals he made were dunks. And yesterday he shot 3 of 16 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3-point. Andrew Wiggins.
Oubre is not a bad role player.
Andrew Wiggins stinks too.
Andrew Wiggins is buns. I was sitting next to you when that trade went through. I was hyped to get rid of Wiggins for D'Lo.
He's not
next class actually.
He's not what he should be. Steph Curry with 36. That guy's got to have a headache at this point.
Well, I feel bad for Clay. I feel bad for Warriors fans. That's unfortunate what happened, but you had to figure. Me, you, and Marv talked about it. They weren't going to be a finals team with just Steph. You need both of them.
Yeah, and Draymond's not playing.
No. So the Warriors are finding themselves.
James Wiseman has been playing well, but they need a couple more pieces, or they
So
need
is
other.
Edwards.
They need guys to step up.
Anthony Edwards, besides yesterday, his first 2 games were very good. He was averaging 16 and a half, 17. On basketball, shift to college real quick. The new AP poll just came out. Gonzaga, Gonzaga is going to win the fucking Natty this year. If they don't, that's a shame. They are far and away the best team in basketball.
I watched them against Iowa.
Dude, their schedule is not easy. They had Virginia, they had Iowa, they still have to play Baylor. They gave themselves a tough schedule.
Yeah.
And they're not batting an eye. It doesn't matter to them. Speaking of Baylor, they're still at number 2. Kansas number 3, Nova 4, Houston 5, Wisconsin 6, Tennessee 7. Them Horns, baby. They're at number 8.
Houston.
West Virginia 9 and Iowa 10. The Big 12 has 4 teams inside of the top 10.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is well represented in there. We bring it up every week that we go over the rankings. It's going to be a crazy year in college basketball. And just like the NBA, that's just getting started. But what's winding up is the football. The football is almost done, people. A wild week, to say the least, especially in the AFC.
Can I air my grievances?
You will be able to, because we're going to start off with that Christmas Day game. Saints Vikings. If you bet the over, good for you. If you bet the Vikings with the spread, not good for you.
I understand that our defense is missing Danielle Hunter. You're missing Eric Kendricks. You're missing Anthony Barr. Those are 3 Pro Bowl caliber players. Eric Kendricks was an All-Pro last year. Obviously, that's going to be a big hit. But the D-line just sucks, okay? They are like at the bottom of the league in pressures. And if you're not getting to the quarterback, you're not going to win games on the defensive side of the ball.
I love how we always said that the Vikings' weak spot was the secondary. Their corners. Their safeties are fine. But their corners, we always say was the weak spot. Then you bring up a good point with that defensive line. If you can't get pressures, then you're not helping that secondary out. They coincide with one another.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is I don't think Cam Dantzler and Jeff Gladney have particularly been playing bad the past few weeks. They've been playing pretty good.
They have looked a lot better, and so has Atlanta secondary.
Yeah.
You in Atlanta, the Vikings in Atlanta, their secondaries at the beginning of the year were rough, but now they're starting to find their stride a little bit. But it doesn't matter if you don't have a pass rush, like you said.
They're going to get those 2 corners are going to get better. They're going to be good. But I think in the offseason, they need to focus on signing a veteran corner. They need at least one veteran on that roster at cornerback. And
Kevin King's on the market, man. Kevin King's not coming back to Green Bay, and
we'll get Michael Pierce because he opted out of the season. We'll get him back next year at defensive tackle, and that'll be a big help. But we need one more solid pass rusher on that team. And everything else should be all right, except now you go to the offensive side of the ball. You have weapons. You have Dalvin Cook. You have the potential offensive rookie of the year, Justin Jefferson. You have Adam Thielen, and you have Irv Smith, who's played really well this year. Now, this might be a crazy thing to say. This might be a hot take, but maybe they would play better if their offensive line didn't think pass blocking was optional.
I'll tell you this much, though. You make it sound like they're putting up 10 a game. They still score 33 on a very good New Orleans defense.
They score a lot of points a game, too, and that's the thing. Kirk Cousins is always playing from behind. But the thing is, too, they'd be even better if the guy had time to throw. He's pressured, like in the games against the Bucks, the Bears, and whoever they played before the Bucks. I forget. It might have been the Jags or something. Or whoever it was. I can't remember at this point. It's all just a big mess. Let me check here. Um, yeah, it was the Jags. Between the Jaguars game, the Buccaneers game, and the Bears game, Kirk Cousins was pressured on about 40% of his dropbacks. Almost half the time he dropped back, the guy was under pressure.
That's not a formula to win football games.
And everybody wants to blame Kirk Cousins, but if you give that guy time in the pocket, he's good. He started off the year pretty crappy. He started off the year shit. He had a bunch of interceptions, but I don't think he's thrown an interception in a while. He's got 32 touchdowns and 13 interceptions on the season. And people want to make it sound like he's had a horrendous year.
Yeah, that's still almost a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio, which isn't great, but it's not bad. It's not like he's at 1-to-1. It's 20 touchdowns, 17 picks. It's nothing like that. I was playing against Kamara, the guy I'm playing my fantasy championship, 56 points. If you were to tell me that I would be in the lead with having the Bills defense left to go tonight, I would have called you nuts. But I am in the lead. Thank you, Jonathan Taylor, Montgomery, Brady, Kelsey, Devontae, Juju. Move on. Bucks Lions, not much to touch upon here besides the Bucks just had their way with the Lions. 47-7. I mean,
Yeah.
Brady didn't play the entire second half. It was that bad. Lions did not have a prayer in this game. The game afterwards, an upset. Niners over the Cardinals, and that opened the door wide up for the Bears. And as we'll get to, the Bears took advantage of that one. The last game of the Saturday slate, that Dolphins-Raiders game, did you catch any of that?
Yeah, I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick's pass.
The last 5 minutes collectively was just
it was crazy.
That was a nutty last few minutes. But yeah, Ryan Fitz. If Patrick Mahomes did that, we would be watching it every single day.
But what's good with Tua?
Tua got banned, or he just wasn't playing well.
He was 17 of 22 for 94 yards. Like, how are you a quarterback and you're averaging 4.3 yards per attempt?
They don't have receivers there. They have Gesicki, and Parker was out. It was a Myles Gaskin game. Myles Gaskin came back from injury, had a big game.
Yeah.
Derek Carr didn't look bad, but now the Vegas Raiders are officially out of the postseason.
Yep.
The Dolphins win. Get this, Sheeps. Now that the Titans lost, there are 5 teams tied at 10-5 in the AFC with 4 spots open. Next week is going to be a wild week. Tennessee still holds claim at the AFC South. The Dolphins, I believe it's the Dolphins actually, are now the 5 seed in the AFC. The Ravens go to 6. The Browns go down to 7. And now the Colts of all teams are on the outside looking in. They're the only team that doesn't control their own destiny. And if the Colts miss the playoffs, that will be a shame. They're a better team than the Ravens. I think they're a better team than the Dolphins. The Browns beat them, so it's hard to say that they're a better team when they have the head-to-head. On paper, though, I still like the Colts more. That'd be nuts if they missed the postseason. It really would be.
Yeah.
But my heart hurts for Browns fans. It really does.
The Cardinals are eliminated now too.
No, the Cardinals aren't eliminated.
I thought I saw that they got eliminated from.
No, because them and the Bears are both at 8-7.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, at the end we'll get to the scenarios. But my heart hurts for Browns fans and Jets fans. The Jets are going to jet. They beat the Browns 23-16. They are officially out of the 1 pick. The Jags clinched the number 1 overall pick, the Trevor Lawrence picks. And now the Browns, they could have won that game and had a chance for the South or the North.
Yeah, because they play the Steelers next week.
Obviously, Pittsburgh won. But if the Browns were to win that game and the Steelers were to have lost, that would have been for the North next week. But now the Browns have to beat the Steelers next week to get in or hope the Colts lose. The Colts, may I add, are playing Jacksonville.
Not gonna lie though, if the Browns don't make the playoffs, I'll kind of laugh.
I will too, but man,
it's sad. Yeah, it's sad for Browns fans, blah blah blah. But I just feel like I don't know, just like the most Browns thing that happened.
And look, they didn't have any of their wide receivers.
I know
It
that.
was all Austin Hooper. It was all
Yeah.
Harrison Bryant in the backfield. So yeah, they got screwed. The NFL fucked them going into this game. But there's still no excuse to lose. You know, this
Yeah.
is still a game that they should have won. They had an opportunity to. Looking at it now, they would have clinched a playoff spot. The
Hmm.
Browns would have clinched a playoff spot with a win yesterday, seeing as how everybody else lost. But now they're fighting for their lives next week against the Steelers. The Chiefs, on the other hand, locked up the 1 seed.
Yeah.
17-14 win over Atlanta. Younghoe Koo missed a 39-yarder that would have
Yeah.
tied it. Patrick Mahomes looked like shit.
Yeah.
Patrick
The
Mahomes
one week,
did
the
not.
1 week I take him in DraftKings, he looks like crap.
Yeah, he did not look good, and I think it's safe to say Aaron Rodgers is now the favorite for MVP.
Yeah.
Mahomes did not look very good. The Chiefs haven't looked good over the past 5-6 weeks. They're winning, yes, but they're not looking good doing so.
Well,
And I was talking
the
with
playoffs is a new slate.
I was talking with Joe. Do you agree the Bills could take down the Chiefs?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And do you think
My dream AFC championship scenario is the Bills and Chiefs.
that would be a phenomenal game? And it would be at Arrowhead, but the Bills are playing great football, and we're gonna get to see them tonight. But I was just
And
saying
Packers versus Saints would be the ideal scenario for the NFC championship.
that would be. I mean, remember their Week 3 game? There was a shootout in New Orleans that we won. I was just saying to my dad and Joe that the Chiefs remind me of the Packers when we were 15-1. And I just think the AFC is so tough to where they're going to get that 1 seed. You know, they have it. They're going to get the bye. Depending on who they get matched up against, watch out. Because teams are knocking at the door to take down KC. And I'm convinced that any of the other 6 teams can do it in the AFC.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do something here. It was good to see Marv this week. Marv came back up to New York for Christmas and everything. I got to see him, all weekend long. I'm going to get him on the phone here because next game is the Steelers-Colts. And that was a nutty game.
Marv calling in from the road.
Calling in Marv. He's on the road. Hopefully he's not the driver, even if he is.
Our first caller is someone that's already on our show.
Yeah, we almost had Mikey, but I called the wrong number. Here we go. Starvin' Marvin.
How's it going?
Welcome to Riding the Pine.
Yes.
Hey, we're on the
Everyone.
Steelers and Colts right now.
Interesting. Very nice.
Yeah, so that was a wild game.
Well, you see, what happened was the Steelers offensive coordinator was calling the plays in the first half, and then Ben went into halftime and said, "Fuck you. I'm sick of this check down shit." And you saw, you guys watched the game, you saw the second half, they started to just go deep. And that's when the problem started for Indy. And that's when the solution started to come together for the Steelers. Like, I don't understand. We have the deep threats that we have, and we don't use them the right way. Like, I don't understand why all of a sudden we thought check down passes and short slants every single time was going to work. And 4 rushing yards in the first half, that can never happen again. If I ever see something like that again, that's fucking horrendous.
Well, you're right. Ben finally started slinging the ball. Finally.
Yeah, like
he was making the passes.
He was making and I think it was more of, the fact that, all right, Ben's calling it. He was in that confidence level of like, screw this, I'm throwing. I'm throwing, I'm playing my offense, and I'm doing what I need to do because what offensive coordinator, like, it's not working. It hasn't been working, and I don't know how else to say it, but that Ben needed to literally do that because if he didn't, I see us being 11-4, truthfully.
And AFC North champions, though.
Yep, that's feels good to be back on top of our division. Lamar had his shit last year, and everybody thought Cleveland was going to come back with our little spill of 3 games there, but we buckled down, got the win when we needed to, and now next week we don't have to go into a game where it matters the outcome. We got our division, we're the division leader, and now it's just up to the game tonight. Kind of if Buffalo loses, it's a division game, you never know what can happen. Buffalo loses, it puts the pressure more so on that game, or else Buffalo wins. I don't see them losing to Miami. I believe it's at home. I don't see them losing to Miami at home. So I think it will be the seeds will be pretty locked up after tonight's game. I feel like so. If the Steelers get the opportunity next week to be potentially the 2 seed, we got to go all out. The Browns are going to be wanting to come back. They just lost to the fucking Jets. So they're going to be wanting to make a statement with that last game, and it's going to be a big game for both teams.
Good words from Marv. We're going to call you back for picks later on.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good.
So be ready. Keep driving safe. We'll call you in a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Peace, bro. So there he was on the road in Virginia on his way back to Georgia. Marvin, the Steelers are actually in a similar position that the Packers are in next week. You're playing a division, although you have your division locked up, you're playing a divisional opponent that is fighting for their postseason life.
Yeah.
And you have to, and what do? Do you play to win, or are you sitting some guys? Or are you going to play your guys and try to keep them out of the postseason?
You play to win.
You play to win as well, especially for the Packers, because they didn't get the 1 seed locked up because the Rams shit the bed.
If they already had the 1 seed, I'd say throw Jordan Love in there, but
Jordan Love has been active all year. He's not even the backup.
we'll just throw him in.
Nah, Timmy Boyle's going to get his shot. Speaking of the Bears, though, they wiped the floor with Jacksonville. No surprise there.
You really need
The
it.
Bears are actually looking good since Matt Nagy gave up play calling. And that was a wise choice. David Montgomery out of the woodworks from injury, just casually becoming a top 5 running back in football over the past.
Still don't care about the Bears.
No, who does? Except for the playoffs, because right now the Bears are the 7th seed. They are home next week against Green Bay. If they lose and the Cardinals win, Cardinals are in. If both teams win, the Bears are in. If both teams lose, the Bears are in. Bears have the better record against common opponents. That's the tiebreaker they hold over the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's the only wild card spot left for grabs in the NFC is between those 2 teams. So the Bears take down Jacksonville, keep pace. The Ravens, no surprise, take down the Giants. The Giants are now officially eliminated from the NFC East.
Yeah, they stink.
Oh, no, wait, don't. No, I don't. No, they are eliminated because Dallas winning yesterday.
Des Bryant had a touchdown.
He did 2 games in a row.
Yep.
2 games in a row.
I don't really think there's much to say about that game.
No, and neither is there.
I think Daniel Jones stinks. Okay.
Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback.
Until somebody can tell me otherwise, or like actually prove to me, like I got a buddy that's a Giants fan. He swears Daniel Jones is like the prophecy being fulfilled. I think the guy stinks. Okay. He has like 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions on the year. Like he's buns. He's not a good quarterback.
Here's what I'll say. Let Giants fans dream. Let Giants fans be delusional in their own heads. Let them live in their own reality. Because I'm with you. Daniel Jones is not good. He's not. I don't think he's good at all.
Speaking of not good, the Bengals beat the Texans. And J.J. Watt was pretty pissed after the game, rightfully so.
He spit facts.
Yeah, he did. Deshaun Watson should be pissed. Deshaun Watson's probably very upset that he even decided to sign a contract extension there because the organization is a mess and they should be embarrassed of themselves. Bill O'Brien, I hope he never gets a job in the NFL or any college association ever again because of the way he ruined the Texans organization and his fucking butt chin. Get out. Nobody likes you except the Cardinals.
And the Bengals they've been looking better over the past couple weeks as well. You know, they're playing a pretty good brand of football. Yeah, they beat the Steelers and now they beat the Texans team, but they're putting up points with a backup quarterback, no offensive line. You know, the Bengals aren't looking bad. The Dolphins got 3 wins this week. With their win, the Browns lost and the Texans lost because now the Dolphins, that first round pick they get is going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Especially if the Texans lose next week too. The next game meaningless. Chargers won by a field goal.
Drew Lock, not elite. We already know.
Drew Lock, the elite meter, back in the closet. We brought it back out for a week. We're gonna shove it back in there like an old Christmas present that you're looking to regift.
The Washington football team struggled again
They
because
did.
Dwayne Haskins sucks. That guy
Dwayne
is a
Haskins
terrible
is-
quarterback. The fact that he even has a C on his chest should be an embarrassment because he's not a captain. He's not a leader. After his first game in the NFL, I'll still go back to that he went and took selfies with the fans. I don't care how happy you are. Go do your job and then do that. And then after this game, he goes to a club or whatever the hell it was.
No,
Whatever
it was all week. It was a wild week for Dwayne Haskins. They they took captain away from him. He went to the strip club, whatever, no mask, broke protocol. They took captain away from him and then said, "Oh, hey, you're going to start today." What the fuck?
Yeah.
That was a roller coaster of a week. I tweeted that out. Like, oh, that was a hell of a week for Dwayne Haskins.
They could lose their playoff spot.
I think it's already gone.
That guy stinks.
I mean,
Don't they definitely have to win next week?
Yeah, because right now they have the tiebreaker over Dallas. Both teams are 6-9. The Giants are 5-10. Actually, no, the Eagles are eliminated with the loss. The Giants still have a shot at 5-10. If Washington and Dallas lose next week, because the Giants, I think, they have Dallas. Yeah, so if the Giants, is that the game that they flex to Sunday night?
I don't know.
No, they flex the Eagles in Washington to Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
If Washington wins, they get the division. Dallas, I mean, while we're on it, they took down the Eagles by 20. That's another team that's with Andy Dalton at quarterback. They're starting to put up points again.
The Seahawks beat the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams threw up a dud, 3 field goals. They couldn't get the ball moving.
Jared Goff you don't know which Jared Goff you're going to get every week. Like, he's very inconsistent. Now he has a broken thumb, and he's still not ruling out playing. If you're throwing for 234 and an interception on 43 attempts with a non-broken thumb, I'm sure you're going to do a lot worse with a broken thumb on your throwing hand.
Oh, I got to send a quick message. I hear you, though. With Jared Goff, you don't know what you're going to get.
And that brings us to
your
time in the show.
Real quick with the Rams, though. That's a team with so much potential and that has the weapons on offense, but they either will score 40 or they're going to have a game like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's the craziest thing to me. It is so weird.
Their defense is solid, too.
Their defense is – you give up 20 points in a game, you should win.
Yeah.
They should have won yesterday, but again, the offense couldn't get moving against a suspect defense like the Seahawks. I don't know. The Rams confused the ever-living shit out of me. They should be I think they're better I really do think they're a better team than the Seahawks. They didn't prove it yesterday. Seattle proved it. So Seattle, they have the West. Packers already clinched the North. They needed some help to get the 1 seed this week. It didn't get done. The Seahawks won. But I mean, talk about a fucking dismantling. It was Sheeps. We had football weather.
Yeah, the Titans aren't used to that football weather.
We had football weather. The last regular season game at Lambeau this year, there was snow on the ground. Derrick Henry couldn't do shit against us, and I never thought I'd be saying those words on Monday. Never thought I'd be saying those words. Derrick Henry didn't do shit. Davante Adams is the best wide receiver in football. How can anybody say he's not now?
I think you reeled me in.
I don't know how you and Dylan can look at me and say that he is top 2 but not number 1. Davante Adams is the best wide receiver in football. I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say about it.
At this point, I'd have to agree with you, considering he's 3rd in the league in receiving yards, and doesn't he lead the league in touchdowns?
He leads the league in touchdowns. He's 3rd in receiving yards while missing 3 games this year. It's nuts.
The crazy part, though, is that Travis Kelce is leading the league in receiving yards right now.
My fantasy team is anchored by Davante and Kelce. I'm lucky. Davante finished yesterday 11, 142, and 3 touchdowns. A.J. Dillon broke on the scene, finally scoring his first career touchdowns. He had 2. He ran 21 for 124 and 2 touchdowns. Dillon's a beast. He got a lot of touches with Jamal Williams, hurt his quad. Henry finished 23 and 98. He did not move the ball against us. We picked off Tannehill twice, Kirksey and Savage. Rodgers looked sharp. He got picked off once, but who gives a shit? He still tore up the Titans defense. We won by 26 against a playoff team.
Yeah.
So for the people that wanted talk shit about Green Bay now. We don't make our schedule. We only play who is on that schedule.
Mhm.
Sure, we have 2 wins against teams with 500 or above records, but both of those teams are going to the playoffs.
Yep.
Both of those teams won their division or are in position to with Tennessee. So whatever people want to say about the Packers, go for it. But we've proven our worth. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was pretty hammed up during that game. I had to go back and watch the highlights again just to remember exactly everything that was going on. Zadarius Smith was getting in the backfield. Rashawn Gary was causing pressures. Tannehill was just never comfortable in the pocket. They couldn't get the run game going, and as a result, that's what you get. The play action isn't there. All the Packers have to do is win next week. It's that simple. Packers win, they get the 1 seed. Yeah, it'd be nice Seattle and New Orleans lose. That'd be pretty cool. We don't even need New Orleans to lose. We need Seattle to lose next week. But if the Packers win, they got the 1 seed. So great win for Green Bay. No, not the last Sunday night game. There's the one next week. But man, I'll tell you, I had us going 12-4 this year. Matt LaFleur can go back-to-back seasons at 13-3. That'd be phenomenal. It's gonna be a tough game next week. It is at Soldier Field against the Bears. They're gonna be playing with some edge. The Bears will be playing with edge, but the Packers want the 1 seed. So that's gonna be a very, very, very good game next week at Soldier Field. And lastly, we got the Bills Pats tonight. What are you looking for? Who you got?
I got the Bills, dude. Like Cam Newton can't throw a football.
Did you know the Pats have more picks than touchdown passes?
I mean, I could imagine because Cam Newton can't throw the football. On
Yeah,
the season, Cam Newton has only 2,381 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That's terrible. That's pitiful. That's
And you talk
probably
about all
that's
these
worse than Drew Lock.
You talk about these teams that need quarterbacks and like the guys that are gonna be on the market. Like look at Matt Stafford. He can land in New
Dude,
England.
please,
Or
Matt
Carson
Stafford
Wentz.
needs to go to a place that
Carson Wentz is another
he'll
one.
succeed in. Dude, Matt Stafford is nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, and I honestly see him going to Pittsburgh over New England. I think that's a better fit for him with the receivers that Pittsburgh has. It's a lot like what Detroit has with Galladay and Marvin Jones, with a Deontay and Juju, plus you throw in Claypool. So I'm with you. I'm going to take Buffalo, especially with the spread as it's at -7. I like the Bills. And the Bills' chances at the 1 seed are gone, but they still need to keep winning to get the 2 seed. And that'd be big for Buffalo. They can get 2 home games in the playoffs if they get the 2 seed and then they win the wild card round. So I'm looking forward to watching that game tonight. Let's empty the bench. Who do you like next week? Actually, you know what? Let's do that Thursday. Let's do that New Year's Eve.
All right.
You with that?
You just cut out for a second there. Yeah, I'm with it.
You with that? All right. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that better. We'll digest tonight's game. We'll see the injury reports. We're going to go Thursday with our picks. And then by then, Marv should be back on the show unless he's working New Year's Eve night, but we could always push it earlier in the day. We want to get him back on here. It was good to see him this week. Sheeb's always a pleasure seeing you. You got anything else for us?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for another spectacular Riding the Pine. Again, hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Thursday is New Year's Eve. So we will be back on New Year's Eve, and that's when we will wish you all a happy New Year's. But for now, we're going to sign off. See you in a few days. For Sheebs and Marv, I am Adam. We'll see you soon.